I love you. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you. You know, we did Martin Luther King Day in LaBelle.
Yes.
So I took my sound system, my DJ equipment. We went over there. We had a good time.
Yes, yes.
So that's how we met. Praise God. That's how God opened doors in our relationship. Praise God. You know, I minister in the streets with my sound music, with music and stuff. But I want to bring you a small testimony because it impacted her life. So she called me up. She wanted me to give a testimony. But you know, I've been here in Fort Myers all my life. I've been here 43 years of my life. I was born in Puerto Rico, but I got here as a little kid. And you know, growing up in a dysfunctional family, my father was an alcoholic. You know, he was always beating my mom. He never beat us as kids, but he would beat my mom up. And my mom one time got tired, told him to leave. So I didn't understand at the age of 5, I didn't understand. You know, my mom used to tell him to go, you know, with the hands like this. So I didn't know what she was telling him. But it started, you know, after a while, it started coming down into my memory that she was actually telling him to leave the house, you know. So then they filed custody, you know, where he can come home, pick me up on the weekends and stuff like that. But at the age of 5, my father passed away. He had a heart attack in Naples. Back then, the only hospital that they had back then, it was Lee Memorial Hospital. Naples did not have a hospital, so everybody from Naples had to come down here to Lee County, to Lee Memorial. So he didn't make it. My father didn't make it. He died with a heart attack in my older brother's lap. So as a kid, I was traumatized. I was angry. You know, I wanted the answers. I had a lot of, you know, questions to ask, but I wanted answers. But at the same time, me wanting the answer, I shut down. I isolated myself. You know, in my life I became like a little cocoon, like a shell. You know, like that old saying, what you don't know doesn't hurt. So at the age of 8, we went to Puerto Rico. My mom was tired. She didn't want us to stay down here. She was trying to give us a different change of scenery, where we, you know, with the memories that we had here in Lee County would just fade away. But sometimes there's things in life that doesn't fade away.
That's right.
It just sticks to you.
That's right.
It sticks inside of you from the deep. So we went there, and I was going to school one day with my baby sister Gloria, and this little Spanish guy jumped, you know, was bothering my sister, so I ended up punching one of them. I punched him out. He fell on the floor. He was embarrassed because everybody was laughing at him. So he came back about an hour later. He came back with a whole bunch of other Spanish guys with sticks, knives, and all kind of stuff, bats, and they were going to kill him. The guy was so embarrassed that he was going to hurt me. So I ran, and I ran, and I ran. I ended up, you know, at long distance, I see a big white wall, and I jumped that wall. And when I jumped that wall, it was like one of those things that happen in a movie. When you're jumping, it's like in slow motion. You can see everything in the air as you elevating, and then you can see everything down where you're going to land.
That's right.
So when I looked down, there was a graveyard. They had just got dumped out.
Oh.
So I fell inside the 6-foot hole. In there was bones and stuff, and it was stinking, it was smelling bad. So I got hysterical. I started screaming. So the kids that were chasing me, it was 4 of them. They came and they jumped the wall. So they tricked me. They said, "No, we're not going to hurt you, but you know, let it be the last time that you ever touch me." So they pulled me out. As soon as they pulled me out, they started beating on me. So they beat me so bad where I didn't have no strength. And so then they ended up raping me. They raped me, they threw me, after they beat me so hard, they threw me on top of a graveyard, on top of a tomb, and they did what they did. I was broken. I was screaming, I was yelling, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, where you at?" But I was hurt. It was walking down the streets of Puerto Rico trying to get back to my house. I was full of mud. I was broken. I was raped. I was violated. And I stood shut. I didn't tell my mom nothing. My mom asked me a question, "What happened?" I said, "No, I just had a fight with some kid." So as time went on, years went, here I am now, I'm 12 years old. We're back in Fort Myers. And all of a sudden, the neighbor that we had as a good friend of the family, he was married. He had he had a son, he had a daughter, and they used to go to my school, Edison Park. So I come home one day, and he offered me candy, like he always gave us. His son, his daughter, and myself and my sister gave us candy. So that day, you know, the enemy, the Word of God says that the enemy is like a roaring lion.
That's right.
Okay? He comes to destroy you. You know, he's a predator. You got to understand that, you know, he's like a lion. The strategies of a lion is to hunt his prey.
That's right.
You know, to sit still, he's got to sit still for hours until his prey gets weak. Yeah. And then that's when he makes his move.
Right.
Amen?
That's right.
So here I am, you know, I became that prey. I got the candy. His wife was going to the store, so my friend and his daughter left, and his sister left, and I stood there. And here go this man at the age of 12. He ended up raping me again. So now I get raped the second time. My pain, my hurt is big. So I ran and I ended up getting into the crack cocaine, drugs, habit, running the streets here in Fort Myers. I started selling drugs. I started pushing drugs. I started abusing the drug. I started doing everything. And what I didn't know was that, you know, when those guys, those people raped me, they planted in me a seed. And that seed is called today homosexuality.
Yes.
Or homosexual. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know. Here I am at the age of 14. I started getting some weird thoughts. Like, how would it be for me to make love with another man? And I said, wait a minute, this is not normal. This ain't normal. I must be going crazy. So I got into drugs, crack cocaine. I was so hurt. I had so much pain. I didn't want to live anymore. I tried to commit suicide, and that didn't work. So here I am running the streets. I get married. Years went by. I get married. And I get married with my beautiful wife right here. Stand up, baby. I'm thinking that if I get married, things will change. You know, I can become a husband. I can become a father. I got kids. And none of those things, you know, will come to my mind no more. But that was not real. What happened was it started getting worse, because now I ended up abandoning my wife and our first daughter in her first pregnancy. I abandoned her. I went back to the crack cocaine, running the streets of Broadway, running the streets of Martin Luther King, and all that. Just getting high. So what happened is, here I am, I made a lick, you know, so y'all straight, you know what a lick means. I made a lick, you know, and I had about $2,000, so I rented me a motel room. I said, well, now I'm going to get high, I'm going to get high by myself. It doesn't work like that. That's a lie of the enemy. All right. The enemy already had somebody coming to my door. And when he came to my door, and this person knocked at my door in the motel. So, you know, I'm already high, so I'm nervous. I don't want to open the door. I'm looking through the people. My eye hurting so much because I'm thinking everybody's trying to get me. You know what I'm saying? I'm paranoid. I'm stuck on stupid. In other words.
Oh, Lord.
So I opened the door. I said, no, I'm opening the door. I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? We got to fight. I'm opening the door. So I opened the door, and there was this homosexual. Okay, man. He said, listen, I got some dope. You know, I don't have a place to get high. So I said, come on in. So now here we are, we're both getting high. And all of a sudden, the enemy got what he wanted. I ended up having sex with this man, and this man having sex with me. But guess what happened? After all that was over, when it was time to go back home, I was Jorge Colon. I was the noble George. But nobody knew. It would have never hurt nobody. You see what I'm saying? You feel where I'm coming at right now?
Yes.
It's those little secrets. It's those little secrets that we hide in us. We keep it. We have kept it for so long. that the enemy has, that those little secrets have become an open door for the enemy to come in.
That's right.
Okay, to come in and accuse you and blame you for what everything you're doing.
Yes.
So now, years go by, I've cheated my wife, not only with a female, but also with a male. She doesn't know. I could have catch AIDS.
Yes.
I could have got any kind of disease, uncurable, and gave it to her.
That's right.
I wasn't thinking. So now, here I am. I violated my probation again. I go to jail. But now things are getting worse. Now the Judge Reese, his nickname is No Release.
That's right. That's right.
I'm coming in front of this man. And this man looking at me and said, Mr. Colon, he said, I'm very, you know what? I'm sick of seeing you in my courtroom. He said, you know what? I'm going to sentence you for 45 years.
Wow.
And it was a knot in my stomach. I didn't know what to do, to puke, to pass out. But they took me back to the cell in the back. And at that time, our second daughter, she was still pregnant from our second daughter, Kiara. And we hadn't put a name on her yet. But when I told my wife that I was looking at 45 years, I told her, I said, we need to name our daughter. I would like to name our daughter because I'm not going to be around you anymore. They're going to lock me up and throw the key away. So we named her Jireh, Jehovah Jireh. Jehovah Jireh stands for God the Provider.
That's right.
So when we named her Jireh, I told my wife, I said, honey, let's pray in that name and stand bold in that name, Jireh, God the Provider. And God's going to get me out of here, and He's going to take me back to your arms and the kids' arms. So we stood in December of 2007, December 19th in 2007, when I went into that courtroom, the judge, there was pastors, my pastor from my church, Word of Life Ministry, y'all probably know, Dr. Block, we gave out the foods and stuff like that around the neighborhood. They showed up in the courtroom, and other pastors, they believed in me. They knew that I knew them for many years. And they went there and they supported me.
All right.
And when I went back in front of the judge looked at me, he said, you know what, Mr. Colon? And I'm listening to him. He said, there must be a God.
All right.
He said, there must be a God. Because I got mighty men in this corner right here that are well known here in the county, like Reverend Isco Suarez, Nation Association, and all these other people that I knew. They just came to my chamber, and I had a meeting with them, and they said that they believe that you can change.
All right.
I'm giving you a break.
Amen.
And I stood up like this, and I looked at him, and he said, I'm going to give you a break. And I looked at him, and I stood, I said, thank you, Your Honor. He said, no, don't thank me yet. He said, I'm going to let you go home today. But I'm going to give you a probation of 45 years suspended sentence. So as I stand here in front of you, I'm on probation for the next 45 years. I've already done 8 of them.
Jesus, glory to God.
I got a life sentence. I'm 43 now. Another 45 is life.
That's right.
But you know what? When I went to the program, they mandated me to the program called Word of Life Ministry. There, God did a tremendous change in my life. That program, all they spoke about was Jesus, 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 the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus, the cross, the cross, the cross. And guess what? I was confused. I went in there, and my wife is waiting outside. I'm mandated there for 18 months. It's an 18-month program. I went in there, and I started saying to myself, man, I got to change, man. I got to do something. This is my last straw. They just gave me 45 years to spend. If I even skip wrong, I'm gone. I'm
all right.
I'll lose my wife, my kids, and everything. So you know what I did? I got on my knees, and I asked God. I said, God, if you're real, if you're real, hallelujah, if you're real, then give me a testimony, because I'm tired of being a testimony. I'm tired I want to be able to bless others like you have blessed me today. I'm tired of being a phony. I'm tired of keeping those secrets inside of me that the enemy keep going in and taking them out and accusing me about them. Like the homosexuality, all other kind of perversion stuff that I was doing. I said, devil, you are a liar. No more. You're not going to play with me anymore. So I graduated the program. Successfully, I graduated the program.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
And today, because of being faithful with the little, God has given me and my wife a ministry. Today our ministry, the name of our ministry is called Under His Wings Outreach Ministry.
Yes, yes.
Reaching those who are lost and bringing them into the kingdom of God. So now my mission today is to go out there and speak to the crackheads. Go out there and speak to the prostitutes. Go out there and speak to these people who are hurting, who are sick. The enemy has been lying to people. The enemy has been lying. He lied to me. And it's time to stand, brothers and sisters. It's time to stand. Hallelujah. What God promises is all about. This is real.
Yes, it is.
My sister is real. All of you are real. But it's time to get a testimony in our lips.
Yes.
It's time to show what God is really doing in our life, where we can plant it out there. Those who are lost, when you confront them in front of them, they can see the Jesus through you. That was what I asked God. I said, God, if you give me a testimony, I will stop being a testimony. We can't walk this walk with 1 foot in and 1 foot out. We can't.
That's right.
We can't.
That's right. Amen.
It's impossible.
That's right.
So to me, it's an honor to be here with my wife.
Praise God.
I thank my wife. I thank God for the virtuous woman that He has given me. Because she has the love of Christ. Because let me tell you something. It wasn't easy when I told her, honey, we need to talk. And she said, okay, what you need to talk about? Well, listen, I cheated on you. She said, what?
Lord.
What woman? No, it wasn't no woman. And she looked at me and she said, well, what, an animal? I said, no, it wasn't no animal. But it was with another man. And she said, you gotta be kidding me, man.
All right.
But then a week later, it took her a week. I was still in the program, recuperating.
Glory to God.
But it took her a week, and then she came back and she told me, honey, I love you. I don't care what you know what? I marry a real man. I marry a real husband. You was bound with these spirits. But God has delivered you.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking to you good and through bad. So I thank you for my wife. I thank you for the ministry. And I just want to encourage each and one of you.
Yes.
It's the secrets.
Yes.
Yes.
It's time to let go of those secrets. The only way God is going to work in your life is if you open your heart. You get that bag of secrets that you've been hiding for many years. Hallelujah. Come on now. Come on now. This is real. God is not going to work in your life if you keep having those little secrets in your life. It's time to give God those secrets that you can be a real testimony and not a testimony. Hallelujah. So with that, I leave you with that testimony. I love you. I love every single one of them here because I can look at each and one of you and say that I'm not alone. I got brothers and sisters in my house.